Coach told me I can never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Coach told me I can never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Wine on Saturday, wine on Sunday. But Coach told me I can never miss a Monday.
Good evening. Welcome to the Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show with Coach Mike. I'm your host, Rick Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, you can reach me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. As always, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you on Monday night. And today's live show is something that we're really excited about. But before we get started, if you're checking us out live on YouTube or Facebook, you're invited. Please get involved in tonight's show. Leave myself or Coach Mike a relevant real estate question, and you never know, your question may very well be answered on tonight's episode. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce my co-host. He is not only a highly successful real estate broker, but he is also the co-founder of Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. I want to thank him so much for sitting in with us on Monday Night Live, just like he does on every episode of this great show. And I'd like to introduce to our audience, CEO Coach Mike, Mr. Michael G. Davis. How you doing?
What is going on, Prime Real Estate Rick, man? Super excited to be here on another Monday Night Live.
Hey, man, it's great to do this show with you, man. I'm really excited, man. Your energy is infectious. So first thing, Coach, what's been going on in the past week or this weekend in your world or the world of Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm?
Hey, man, look, just some exciting things coming down the pipeline. You know, we have some good events that we're going to be showcasing. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But, you know, there's a lot of things going on in the marketplace with, you know, inventory and interest rates and, you know, a lot of apprehension. And, you know, at Brooks & Davis, we're leaning into it, man. We're innovating. So we're gonna launch some new innovative programs to introduce more inventory into the marketplace. Super excited about that. We're gonna continue with what we're doing with our programming, with our trainings, with our lunch presentations, with our partnerships. So, you know, as we close out these next 6 months, you know, we're coming to an end in June and going to close out these next 6 months, man. I'm just super excited to run head first into all the opportunities that are out there.
You know, I appreciate you so much for sharing, Coach Mike. It's been really impressive as far as the momentum that the brokerage has been building during the month of May, June, and as we go into July. How excited are you to see what happens for the rest of the summer, leading into the early fall, and as we close out 2024? How excited are you as far as what's coming on the horizon?
I mean, I'm off the chain excited, right? I mean, if you have hustle, if you're coachable, if you're teachable, if you're following instructions, man, the sky's the limit over these next 6 months. If you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to outwork anybody else, man, like, you're going to really be able to capitalize on how the market is pivoting, right? You know, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are afraid, a lot of fear, you know, as real estate professionals that are causing them to want to sit on the sideline and not move. And as long as you are the individual that's not going to allow that to happen, man, it's going to be a whole lot of opportunities. As long as you're creative, you know how to leverage your relationships and your resources and your knowledge base, and you're willing to put in that work, man, it is about to be crazy these next 6 months.
You know, I agree with you totally, Coach Mike. And I want to give a huge shout out to all those Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm affiliates and those students that have been tapping into the education and the mentorship. Because as you mentioned, Coach Mike, as these new opportunities present themselves in the real estate marketplace, it's going to be those who are tapped in, that are educated and know exactly what's going on as far as the changes in the market, that's going to be best equipped to take advantage of those new opportunities, man. So I agree with you totally, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Good times in the real estate business.
You know, man, the great thing about those good times is that even during these great times, you still make yourself available to not only the team over at Brooks and Davis, but also the entire real estate sphere as a whole. So we have some really thought-provoking questions for you this week, Coach Mike. So if you're ready to get started, I would like to present to you question number 1.
I'm ready, man. Let's go.
Coach Mike, what are the pros and cons of being a Section 8 landlord / investor?
Okay, that's a good question. What are the pros and cons of being a Section 8 landlord / investor? Okay, so again, like I think I did this the last time we was on Monday Night Live. First of all, whoever asked that question, let me applaud you for getting in the game, right?
Yes.
You know, we got to get to that next level of capitalizing on this vehicle called real estate. We got to go one, first, we absolutely want to start with owning your first home, owning a home, owning where you live. But then we also want to get to the point to where you begin to really build wealth and leave legacy. And that's by, buying investment properties and rental property. All right. So now what the person wants to know is that if I decide to go Section 8 with my rental property, right, what are the benefits and, what are the pros, what are the cons? Let me start this by saying it ain't got to be either or, right? When you put your property on the market, you can put it out to people that are on Section 8 and people that are not on Section 8, right? Sometimes when I'm talking to people, Rick, I get this sense that people feel like if I do one, meaning if I focus on wanting to get a Section 8 tenant, then I'm going to be closed-minded to somebody or an applicant that comes to me that's not on Section 8, right? And then vice versa. If I'm completely not open to Section 8 because of maybe the reputation that permeates the marketplace, so you're not even entertaining Section 8. So my recommendation as a professional would be, why would you limit yourself, right? Put yourself in a position to where you can open it up to both. If a Section 8 tenant comes and they apply, because everybody got to apply. Just because, like, when we hear the term being on Section 8, that's really not, that doesn't exist. Like, that's not how it works. Like, you don't go to the Section 8 office and say, hey, I want to put my property on Section 8. Like, that ain't how this works. But that's a term that we hear and we use, like, I want my property to be on Section 8. No, that's not it. What you're saying is that my property is open to someone that has the Section 8 voucher. Like, that's it. Right. There ain't no special list that you got to get on. There ain't no phone number or person that you got to call within the housing department to say, hey, here's my address, put me on this list, right? I know at one point you could go into the Section 8, the housing office, and you could put a flyer for your property in the office, but that was kind of like the extent of being on Section 8. It's just like you're promoting it in the Section 8 office, right? There's a website called gosection8.com that you could put your property, just like you're adding it to sellbyowner.com or adding it to the MLS. You just add it to gosection8.com. And that's you just pretty much telling people, I accept people that are on Section 8. Like, that's it. So there really isn't no being on Section 8. You're just open to it. All right. So now, what's the pros of it? Well, you've opened your property up to a wider database of applicants. So that's one pro, right? Because if you decide, hey, I'm not going to rent my property to anybody that's on Section 8, Rick, it's 90,000 people in the Houston Metroplex on Section 8. Why would you say, you know what? I ain't going to open it up to none of that opportunity. Why would you do that? So you're opening it up to a wider realm of people. The other thing that people really get caught into is like, oh, well, my money guaranteed, right? Once they start paying, then Section 8 ain't never gonna stop paying. Well, if these people is out of compliance with Section 8, Section 8 gonna stop paying, right? If they don't, if your unit, when it's time to renew and they come do the inspection and your unit doesn't pass the inspection, Section 8 gonna stop paying, right? If the individual does, like if you get into some type of situation with the tenant and they decide to report you to Section 8 for whatever reason, Section 8 will stop paying. So it ain't no golden parachute. You still have to have people relations. You still have to go through the application process and make sure that you're making a good decision on the applicant, whether they're on Section 8 or not, because just because they're on Section 8 don't mean that you can still run into tenant issues if you put the wrong person in your property. So, but the reality is that, yeah, you have this big governmental institution that's responsible for paying you, but don't think that can't be cut off. Okay. All right. So what are some of the cons of Section 8? Well, you have to wait, like that initial payment, that very first payment, you had to wait on that first payment. So you got to be able to carry it. If you got a mortgage payment or something like that, you got to be prepared to possibly have to pay that thing for 90 days before you get your first check from Section 8. Now, it may be less, but I've seen it go up to 90 days before you get that first check. So you got to be in a position where you can cover that mortgage payment if you have a mortgage, right? So and the people are moved in, right? The people in your house, and you ain't getting paid that initial one. Now, when you get that initial one, you're gonna get it all at once, and then from that point, it's gonna run like clockwork. But that very first one, it's gonna take a minute to get there. The other thing is that Section 8 is gonna send an inspector to come out to that property, and in theory, the inspector has a punch list that they should be going off of. In execution, though, that inspector is all opinionated. It's up to the discretion of the inspector, right? So they can call out something for your property and not pass you, and it ain't really nothing that you can do but rectify it. And then what could possibly happen is that when it's time for an inspector to come re-inspect, you're going to get a different inspector. They're not going to send the same inspector out there.
Right.
You get a different inspector, and then guess what? That inspector might see something. They ain't just coming to look at the one thing that was on there. They gonna come. They may see something else that they may not like, and then now they may add it on there and say, "No, I'm still not gonna pass you. Yeah, you took care of this, but this other guy missed this one right here, so I'm not gonna pass you on that." That's a possibility. Now, I don't think they're supposed to do that, Rick, but I've seen it happen. Right. So it's up to the discretion of the inspector when it comes to your unit being able to pass. So that's an extra layer, right? Another, what a lot of people need to understand is that when you're dealing with a Section 8 applicant, what the voucher is doing, the only thing that the voucher is doing is replacing their income, right? So like if you just have a traditional applicant, then you're going to look at their income, like look at some paycheck stubs, see how long they've been on their job, right? But when you go with a Section 8 applicant, you're not going to look at how long they've been on their job or their income, because the income is going to be coming with a voucher, right?
Right.
But everything else needs to be done, bro. Like you still need to pull criminal. You still need to look at their credit. You still need to reach out to their previous landlord. They still need to pay an application fee. They still need to pay a security deposit. Section 8 don't pay their security deposit. They still need to pay a security deposit before they move into the property. So it's only one aspect. So that's the one thing about Section 8, Rick, is that a lot of people don't truly understand what it means when working with Section 8.
Now, I appreciate you for going into such detail, Coach Mike, because I think what motivated the person who submitted that question is because they were wanting to dispel some myths that they may have heard in passing or just in conversation. And myth busting is something that, especially in this real estate space, I think is a very needed activity. So I really appreciate your transparency and your candor as far as sharing not only your experiences, but also some of the things that some of your clients may have shared with you or other like-minded investors. So I urge everyone in the audience to take advantage of the advice you just shared. If you have a more nuanced question, you can submit your question to CEO Coach Mike or on Instagram or myself. But I appreciate you so much, Coach Mike, because that whole should I or shouldn't I, when it comes to qualifying those with Section 8 vouchers, is a question that investors have been asking ever since the Section 8 program was something that was put into place. So appreciate you so much for asking that question, Coach Mike. And a big, huge shout out to our audience for sending such thought-provoking questions. I thought about that, Coach Mike, at the beginning of the show, and the audience never ceases to surprise me. So if you're ready, Coach Mike, let's see what else they have up their sleeve for you as far as question number 2.
Come on, man. I know they're going to give me something.
Let's check it out. Coach Mike, how do subject to deals / closings work in real estate?
Okay, look, man, they really coming with the investment questions today, Rick.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm seeing a theme here, right? Boys trying to really understand how they can, capitalize on the investment space, right? So that's an excellent question. And subject to is probably a term that people have heard about, but they just don't necessarily understand what it means and how it fits in this real estate space. Okay. Especially, some real estate agents who may be having conversations with investors, and that investor throws that term out there, and that agent's like, they get all, deer in headlights, like, man, what is a subject to? All right. Well, guess what? Uncle Mike gonna tell you what a subject to is, right? So make sure you got your journals out or press record so I can explain to you. So when you hear that term, because you're going to hear it, when you hear that term, you understand what it really means. Okay. So now, subject to is a strategy. It's a strategy that real estate investors use to acquire real estate, right? And they use this strategy to acquire real estate without having to tap into traditional financing, right? Because I can go all day talking about all the different financing options that investors utilize, right? From traditional to bridge funding to hard money, right? To private, to owner financing, like it's a bunch of them. Well, subject to is one of them. So subject to is subject to existing financing. Like that's really the entire term, right? But you know how we do, man. We got to shorten stuff up. So it's too much saying subject to existing financing every time we mention it. So they just shrinking it to subject to. All right. So it's subject to existing financing. So what that investor is saying is that I want to buy your property, and I want to buy your property subject to your existing financing staying in place. So what that means is, and I'm just going to throw numbers out there for easy math. This investor approaches this seller wants to sell, right? And they have $100,000 mortgage left on their property. And what that investor is saying, hey, look, I'll buy the house, and you can keep the loan, the mortgage that you have in place. You can keep that in place, right? You can keep it in place, and then I'm going to give you the difference in equity. It's similar to an assumption, but the difference between assuming a loan and subject to is when you assume a loan, then that buyer goes through the qualification process with that bank, and then that loan ends up in that new buyer's name. So that's an assumption. A subject to is that mortgage does not come out of the seller's name. It stays in the seller's name. Although the title to the property has been transferred to the buyer, the mortgage still stays in the seller's name, subject to. All right. Mm-hmm. So now, in many instances, the buyer pays that seller its equity. So it's $100 mortgage. Say they've agreed to a price of $120,000. Mm-hmm. Well, now that buyer is going to pay that seller $20,000, and they're going to pay them that $20,000, and then that seller is going to transfer title over to the buyer, and now that buyer is responsible for paying that mortgage, continuing to pay that mortgage. And now here's the caveat, though, Rick. If that buyer doesn't pay that mortgage, then the house gets foreclosed on. Okay.
Right.
The house gets foreclosed on, that foreclosure is going to go on the seller because the mortgage is still in his name.
Right.
But Rick, if I'm a buyer and if I paid 20, 30, 40 grand, it's not in my best interest for the house to get foreclosed on, right? So that's kind of like the caveat with the subject too, because people will be like, well, no, I'm not going to do that, man. Like, why would I put myself in that type of vulnerability? Like, why would I do that? Well, the buyer they're not going to pony up 40, 50 cash to just go and lose the property. It doesn't make sense. So subject to that's a vehicle, that's a strategy that investors use. It can be confusing, but if you're, there's a lot of experts out here, expert investors. If you're a real estate professional and you find yourself in a situation where you have a client or a customer and that type of situation is happening, then now I've offered you enough to go do some further research to educate yourself, to enhance your skill set in the event that you find yourself in this situation, in this scenario, so you can truly offer some guidance to help the parties come to some kind of resolution, right? So people say, hey, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? It's neither. It's not good or bad. It's just a thing. What makes it good or what makes it bad is how it's used by any of the parties that are using it, right? But it's not good or bad. It's just a strategy. That makes sense?
Oh, no, absolutely. Once again, it's similar to the question that was posed to us at the beginning of the show. You've done a great job of kind of illustrating the facts and separating that from some of the rumor, myth, and innuendo that go with some of those catch-all phrases like subject to and assumption. So I appreciate you for explaining the nuance and the subtle differences between assuming a loan and a subject to deal, because I think a lot of times, especially when people take in their education in a social media space, a lot of those 45-second, 30-second explainer videos don't necessarily go into the detail needed,
right,
to truly put someone in a position to make an educated decision. So
right,
definitely appreciate you taking the time, Coach Mike, because I'm sure the person who posed that question, this is a tool or something that they've been considering. And hopefully this advice gives them that extra nugget of education that they may have needed, or at the bare minimum, puts them in a position to want to go out and gain more of a detailed knowledge of the subject to process and how to set up that type of property acquiring scenario. So I appreciate it so much, Coach Mike. That was great.
Man, my pleasure, bro. That's what I'm here for, man. That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Hey, look, man, not only are we here on Monday nights to answer questions, inspire those in the real estate sphere, motivate those members of the Brooks and Davis real estate family, but we're also out here to reach out to our audience of students, those who are interested in the real estate space, those who are fans of the Brooks and Davis content, and those who just crave real estate education and knowledge. So Coach Mike, could you share with the audience what's going on this week on BND TV and what type of activities, what type of educational events are going on this week at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm?
Absolutely, man. That's what we're here to do, brother. That is what we're here to do. So definitely want to encourage everyone, right? Because this isn't all of our events, but if you want to see the total slate of what we have going on at Brooks and Davis, I encourage you to follow us on Facebook, our Facebook business page, and it showcases everything, right? We don't go through everything on our BND TV, but I definitely want to let everybody know. And next week we're going to be doing our town hall meeting, right? And this is where the whole world gets to peel back the curtain as far as what Brooks and Davis has been up to, right? It's going to be a very exciting event. It's going to be great energy in the room. So I encourage you to come. You do not have to be a Brooks and Davis agent. I want you to come, right? You don't have to be a part of our World Changers community, right? If you're not a part of the World Changers community, you're missing out. But if you're just, you're seeing us, you're seeing what we're doing, you're interested, you're curious, you want to learn more, come to the town hall meeting. You're going to hear directly from me. You're You're going to meet our leadership. You're going to meet our other agents. You're going to be able to plug into the ecosystem. You're going to get a great lunch, right? A delicious lunch on us. And you're going to walk out of there getting some grand insights on what we're up to. Got a big thing that we're launching as it relates to a new value add, something that's going to be a differentiator for Brooks and Davis amongst other brokerages. And you want to know, man, you're going to want to hear that. So that's going to be on July 3rd, Thursday, July 3rd, beginning at 12 o'clock. Make sure you go to our events page on our website for you to be able to reserve your spot. We get a head count, so we'll definitely know who's going to be in the building on next Thursday. Do not want to miss. You got to come. I promise you. You don't want to be the one on the outside, right? You don't want to be the one not in the loop. So do yourself a favor and come to the town hall meeting on next Thursday, all right, July 3rd. All right. Also, we have through our partnership with the Women's Council of the Houston Black Real Estate Association, and our partnership with the people over at US Bank, these are our friends. So we definitely want to promote what they have coming down the pipeline. They have a National Financial Literacy Day that's happening. The event details are on the screen on the flyer. If you're available, go support this organization. If you have clients, and the one thing that I'm really working with lately, Rick, is the next generation, right? It's the teenagers, the adolescents that really need to get educated and understand as it relates to financial literacy. We spend a lot of time talking to adults and trying to get adults up to speed. But man, if we can catch them when they're younger, bro, I mean, it'll make a world of difference in our community. So I know this is going to be at the Stella Link Library, the McGovern Library. And again, the details are on the screen. If you're available, if you have clients that could really capitalize on this information, encourage them to participate. All right. Also, a good friend of ours, Mr. E.L. Crane, he's with Monarch Title. He's launching something very special. This is for licensed real estate professionals. So we definitely want to make you aware. He has something coming down the pipeline. He's doing a launch for it on June 28th, right? So here's your official invite. Because of our relationship, because of his relationship with Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, we have this information. So now, if you have to have a real estate license. So we're opening it up to you, letting you know about it, making you aware of it. Make sure you RSVP. Let them know SEO Coach Mike invited you, right? So you can come learn what does E.L. Crane have cooking, right? Now, the one thing that I can say about this gentleman, again, he's a business development officer with a title company. He really knows business, good friend of mine, that whenever he does something, whenever he launches something, it is of high value, right? So you will not be wasting your time if you come check out what's coming down the pipeline. So that's going to be on June 28th. Again, the information is on the screen and where you need to go to RSVP. All right. BND TV, right? It always starts with Monday, Rick. It starts right here, right? So y'all are well aware of Monday Night Live. We do it every Monday at 7:30. All right. But now we also, on tomorrow, we have our Real to Life podcast. Definitely want to welcome our guests. It's our podcast, our weekly show we do every Tuesday where we go live at 12:30. I dive into the life passions of real estate professionals. Super excited for my guest that's coming out on tomorrow. She's a car aficionado, right? So I can't wait to hear what that's all about. The whole point of the Real to Life podcast is an opportunity to speak with real estate professionals and get an idea of what they're passionate about outside of real estate, right? Because we're professionals, we're people too. And look, if you're a real estate professional, we want you to be on the show. I want to interview you. So to become a guest, all you got to do is scan the QR code on the screen, click the link, or go to the link, and we'll be able to get you online. So, but again, tomorrow, you're going to want to hear this person's story, Miss Okrinsky. You're going to want to hear what this car aficionado is all about, baby. You're not going to waste your time. So you want to check in. All right. Also tomorrow, our Real Estate Happy Hour live, right? We do that Tuesdays at 2:30. Again, with all of our BND TV, we go live on Facebook and on YouTube. We're going to be discussing social media trending topics, current events, real estate industry related topics, along with some advice to consumers and realtors. It's real estate professionals talking about a little bit of randomness. So it's always a great show, lighthearted show. The best part is that the audience has the opportunity to get on screen with us and share their thoughts. So that's tomorrow at 2:30. Our topic is going to be the top 20 dirtiest cities in America. So you do not want to miss that. See what we're going to be talking about on tomorrow. All right. Now on Thursday, I got the very own Prime Real Estate Rick that's I'm lucky to be co-hosting with me on Mondays. Rick, I want you to tell them about why they need to be tuning in with you and Larry on Thursdays.
Appreciate it, Coach Mike. I want to invite everyone in the audience to check out the Prime Real Estate Network show live on Thursdays, noon Central Time, hosted by myself and the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. If you haven't had an opportunity to check us out, check out last week's episode. We had the honor and pleasure of interviewing Miss Amber Newman. She is the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Brazoria County. We had a really thought-provoking and really innovative interview talking about the importance of getting involved with the young people and how, as real estate professionals, we can serve as mentors and inspiration for that next generations of not only investors, but also those top shelf real estate pros. So you can check out that interview and any of our future interviews on YouTube at the Prime Real Estate Network. Appreciate it, Coach Mike.
Hey, man, my pleasure. And, just to plug in, man, I know Amber Newman, man. She is high-powered. Her and her husband, Marcus. I've known them for a long time. And that interview was fire. And she is authentic, man. So shout out to Amber and Marcus and the fam and the wonderful things that she's doing over there with the Boys and Girls Club in Fort Bend. So very good guest. Very good guest. Pull her. All right. So also want to invite all of you all to subscribe to the Houston Real Estate Channel that's powered by Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, where we explore vibrant neighborhoods in Texas. It's your Houston real estate comprehensive guide to exploring vibrant neighborhoods. You get valuable insight on Houston's real estate market in the Metroplex with our diverse range of videos, including in-depth market reports and essential tips for buyers. So buyers and sellers, actually. So go to the screen, click on the QR code, make sure you subscribe, whether you're relocating to Houston or within Houston. This is a great place to start. So you can, like they say, Rick, it's all about location, location, location. And we're giving you all the juice for all the different locations here in and throughout the Houston area. So that's the Houston Real Estate Network. All right. And then now we also want a special invite for all of you all, man, to unlock the full potential of your real estate career. We want you to become a part of our membership. Join our supportive family where you can grow, innovate, and be recognized. Embrace diversity as we reshape real estate with impactful solutions for all communities. And this is an open invite to everybody that has a real estate license, right? So not just Brooks & Davis agents, right? There's so many features and benefits that you can get from joining this supportive network of world-changing professionals. Because with the world-changing community, it's all about connection and collaboration. Connection and collaboration, right? You want to be a part of it. You'll be able to make a difference by engaging in local initiatives for a brighter future, elevate your education beyond transactions, and prepare for success, including acing the real estate exam. There's a spot for people that are not even licensed yet that can become world changers and a part of the community. Enjoy accessibility and easy collaboration within our vibrant real estate community. And here's the best part, Rick. It won't cost you a dime. The only investment required is your time. The rest is on the house. So all I got to ask them, Rick, are they ready to soar? Because this is what the world-changing community is all about. Giving you the resources, giving you the things and that you can take your real estate career to the next level. So join us now. Let's make your real estate journey unforgettable. There are two ways to be a part. I mentioned it earlier. One way is that if you have your real estate license already, then we invite you to explore this world-changing community. Take the next step in your journey by visiting the website that is on the screen. The other way is, again, if you're in the process of obtaining or interested in getting your real estate license, you too can discover this exclusive opportunity that's waiting right here for you with our Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm student affiliate membership. All you got to do is visit the link on the screen, for more information, more details. You too can become a part of it. I am so thrilled to share this incredible opportunity with everyone, knowing that it aligns perfectly with their interests and goals, Rick. So all they got to do now is just join us in shaping the future of real estate with us. All right, and then finally, stay in the loop with us with our social media platforms. You can stay in the loop by following us on LinkedIn for industry insights. Connect with us on Instagram for behind-the-scenes fun, Facebook for lively discussions, and YouTube for exclusive video content. Join the community. Search Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm on any of those platforms. You can even go to our Google business page and leave us some feedback, leave us a review, leave us some stars. Hit the follow, hit the subscribe button. Don't miss out on the latest updates and exciting content. We will see you there. That's all I got for him today, Rick.
Once again, Coach Mike, I want to congratulate you, the team over at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, because you will be hard pressed to find another real estate brokerage that leads with the value that those who have opportunity to affiliate, be a part of the family, or even just take in this education in the online sphere. They won't have the opportunity very often to find an organization that's willing to show the value that they provide, while at the same time being inclusive and being open to collaboration and partnership. So if everyone in the audience can't take anything from what we do here, not only on Monday Night Live, but as far as all the other real estate content that's created on B&D TV, I want them to understand that part. While other people are talking about what they can do for you, over at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, we try to make sure we show and add that value to your real estate practice on a daily basis, man. So thank you so much. And before we sign off this week, Coach Mike, on Monday Night Live, do you have any final words for our audience?
Hey, man, the only what I can say to tell to the people today, Rick, is you got to go out there and make it happen, right? Nobody's going to do it for you. So you got to do it. You got to have that fortitude, right? To make sure that if ain't nobody else successful, you going to be successful. It's up to you, right? And like I always say at Brooks & Davis, if you got hustle, you coachable, you teachable, and you follow instructions, when you connect with the right community, the right brokerage firm, get under the right leadership, the sky is the limit. It's very simple. It may not be easy to do, Rick, but it's a very simple concept.
Absolutely.
Have a good evening.
Hey, look, on behalf of myself, Rick Davis, I want to thank everyone for checking out not only myself, but also Mr. Michael G. Davis, also known as CEO Coach Mike. In the meantime, in between time, if you need to reach out to myself or Coach Mike, you can reach out to both of us on Instagram, Facebook, leave a comment, ask us a question on our YouTube channel. If you need anything, the Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm family is there for you every day. Reach out to us. You can go to brooksanddavis.com, find out everything you need to know about becoming a member of the family or how to tap in to the Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm movement. So until the next Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show, everyone in our audience, please be safe and be blessed.